Okay, and obviously, the amount of acid you use and what pH levels is the key. Seems to be the key, is what I'm hearing. I'm an expert because I listen to you guys. And the lack of success with ammonium sulfate and the organic acid. I mean, how does that factor in? Is that something that you were what you were trying to hit, or was that just okay, mediocre level?
Look, I think we expected hydrochloric pathway to be the best one. So based on the historical work Salazar had done, we knew we were probably going to have the most success with hydrochloric acid. We tried sulfuric and we had some success. We tried ammonium sulfate. Ammonium sulfate is typically more associated with the pure ionic clays. And that didn't really work for us. I think we've got an element of ours that is ionic, but the majority isn't. So that means you will need acid. We tried, just to see what the range was. We tried sulfuric, but we knew we had to focus on the hydrochloric, and that's where we ended up. The results are, they are encouraging in the other pathways as well in terms of citric or sulfuric, but hydrochloric was the clear standout for us. So then it's a case of how do we get the concentrations further down in the acid.
Just so that the guys out there can understand a bit more, you had the 3 tables in your announcement. Can you just briefly run through it so they can get a bit of context of what you were trying to show in there?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're right, there's 3 tables and they're grouped by acid strength. So we started with a pretty strong acidic solution, 100 grams per litre, and that was the test to see will these minerals come out under acid. And we're getting results in there that are very, very good, and that's where one of the 94% sits.
Yep. So
we've then grouped, we've grouped each sample depending on where it is in the geology, and we've got a couple of key layers. We've got what we call an upper saprolite and a lower saprolite, and we've targeted both of those in each of the samples, differentiated between them, and with the 100 grams per litre, we've left it for 3 hours in a liquor form, 8 hours in a liquor form, and 24 hours in a solid form. Slightly different ways of looking at it, and obviously the 24 hours had the best results. The longer you leave it, the more that leaches out. But what was very encouraging as well was even the 3-hour ones were getting really good results. So for us, that means, there's an incremental benefit in leaving it in the acid longer, but the 3 hours gets a big tick on the 100 grams per litre. We then thought, okay, 100 grams per litre, that's quite a lot of acid. Let's cut it back. So we went to 25 grams per litre and tried the same test again. And again, those results were very, very encouraging. So you'll see our second table in the announcement. That 94 has dropped to 88 on that test. So overall, for a reduction from 100 grams to 25 grams in acid per litre, you're incrementally losing 6% recoveries, which isn't a game changer in terms of recovery loss, but it is a game changer in using less acid. So very encouraging results on the 25 grams per litre, and I think we kind of thought, that's a really good start. Can we go further than that? So we had a look at the 12.5 grams, which is the next kind of obvious step. So this is all in consultation with ANSTO. So we're talking to them about what makes sense as the next step, and the 12.5 grams per litre was the obvious one to look at next, and that series of tests, again, we did the 3-hour, the 8-hour, and the 24-hour, and all those were encouraging again. So you'll see, good recoveries on all those on the 12.5. So the takeaway for us is we know it leaches with acid. We know it leaches with a reduced acid level of 12.5 grams a litre. Can we go further than that? Can we make it more benign? Is there a trade-off between the amount of acid we use and how long we leave it in solution for? And that's the kind of stuff that ANSTO is doing for us next. That's the next series of tests.
Okay.
It's probably just worth mentioning the MREO. I think we were having a chat about it earlier.
Yep.
We sort of we focus specifically on the MREO in our announcements, and you were asked the question of why MREO and not TREO. MREO being the magnetic rare earth oxides as opposed to the total rare earth oxides. And the reason is the total rare earth oxides are a wide basket of minerals, but the value is all in the magnets really. So when you're going through this process, you're a lot less interested in some of the minor elements that don't get you much revenue. You really want to focus on where am I going to get my bang for buck, and we end up with close to 25% MREO as a basket mix, and then the important part of all that for us is that's made up of NdPr and dysprosium and terbium. NdPr were what they call the lighter magnets, and dysprosium terbium are the heavies. We've got a really well-weighted mix, and the mix is weighted towards the heavies. So we've got, I think, 3% on average dysprosium and 0.5% terbium. So they don't sound like much, but they're relatively high compared to other deposits in Australia. And the important part of that is that the bulk of the revenue comes from dysprosium and terbium in terms of the prices are much higher than the other ones. So in a mix of MREO, the more heavies you have, the more revenue you're going to get in the basket. And what we're seeing, particularly with dysprosium and terbium, is that our slightly elevated components of that mean our basket price should sit very well